In today's episode, we talk about Toy Story 3, which will lead up to our review to the new and maybe final movie, Toy Story 4. So stay tuned. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Film Fans Podcast, Episode 3. Robert and I are back at it again for our review on Toy Story 3, right?
See.
Are you sure?
No.
Well, I am ready to watch. I know for a fact I'm ready to watch Toy Story 4. How are you feeling about it?
Yeah, same. I'm kind of ready for the. I don't know. I feel Toy Story out right now, right?
Are you sure?
A little bit.
Yeah. Well, in order for us to watch Toy Story 4, we have to go through 3.
I know.
So, but I'm gonna honestly say I don't remember much of this movie.
I didn't either. This was released in 2010.
Yes.
So obviously, this is the one I watched the least out of all three of them.
Yeah, I think so too. But the only thing I can remember is the very end. That is it.
I remember before I watched it, I remembered certain parts, and I'm like, oh yeah, I kind of remember that. But
I did.
There are certain things that I was like, oh, this happened. Okay.
Like the very beginning of the movie, I don't remember until I watched it. I was like, oh wow, this is pretty cool.
Yeah. That was one of the ones that I was like, I remember watching this and I was like, wait a minute, or watching it the very first time, and I was like, did I walk into the wrong movie? I feel like this is.
Yeah, because it had probably nothing to do with the movie, but I mean, it's you probably thought it was like a short film or something.
Yeah.
Well, okay. So we know that the beginning of the film starts out with a Western style train chase.
Yeah.
We see Mr. Potato Head come out from the top of the roof of one of the carts, or whatever you want to call it, and he's his ego is sky high when he's stashing the money back in his little hole, and that's when Woody, what does he do? He uses the whip,
The lasso,
and whip because sorry.
Oh my!
And that's when we finally see Woody walking in all cool with the head bowed down. Yeah. Okay.
I kind of like how this was like a recreation from the little play thing that Andy did in the first one.
Yes. Yes, that is true.
Slinky's the force field dog, and then Rex is the dinosaur who eats force field eating dogs.
Yes.
I thought that was kind of fun. That was cool.
Only thing is they turned an imagination into an actual real thing,
yeah,
which is really, really neat.
Yeah.
And one thing I noticed during the whole film, on that entire segment, I liked the color of the scenery. It was nice.
Yeah, it was bright.
It was colorful, very.
Almost. I mean, this sounds weird saying it's talking about Toy Story, but it looked like toy-ish.
Mm-hmm. And of course, we have said this before in previous episodes, but the animation in this film did get better.
Well, yeah, they had 10 years to work on it. It had better gotten better at that point.
Oh man, that's just funny. So I'm just throwing that out there because I know we probably have said it 2 other times with the other episodes, but I'm just bringing it up again. So whatever. But yes, knowing in the very first film that we know that imagination that kids bring into their toys to bring them to life is something that we all have experienced. I know I have, and to see wanting to see your imagination stories or just playtime come to life is just like wow. Like I wish I had the ability to do that, but we're not creative into creating our own little story either. What is it? Well, animation and the other way of creating the story. I can't remember what it is, but it's when they move the character stop
stop motion.
Stop motion, is that what it's called? Okay, so that but I don't have time for that. That takes a lot of time. That takes a lot of time for that.
I don't have the patience for that.
But it's whatever, and to see this come to life, and it was like, oh sweet, and then just seeing the big spaceship of Ham, I was like, oh shit, like that's awesome. So, but we do know that Toy Story, they end up bringing up the store, the playtime that Andy was playing with in the beginning of the film into the beginning of Toy Story 3, and it's just it's awesome. It's really cool.
Yep.
What did you like about it though?
About
Toy Story 3's version of the imagination playtime?
I don't know. I feel like I liked how it took what was in the first one with, Slinky and Rex and all that, but it also added like Jesse and the little green men when he was trying to save them.
Yeah.
I really liked how they just incorporated some of the newer characters into that same scenario from the first movie.
Yeah.
Into this imagination sequence, or however we want to classify it as.
Yeah, I mean, I had to say at Toy Story 1, we as kids, we had to just watch and just see what Andy was doing. But as adults now, if we wanted to watch it again, we also have to use our imagination of what Andy is trying to play. And, by the way, thanks, Andy, for that, because I don't want to use my imagination anymore. I want to see it happen.
Yeah.
And Toy Story 3 gave it to us. So my favorite scene or part of that, I don't know. I think it might have been where Buzz came into play and brought the train back up. I think that was my favorite part because it was just really, really neat.
Yeah, he ain't that strong though. So.
No, but it's I think it's cool. And to be honest, I completely forgot about Andy saying force field dog. So whenever Mr. Potato Head was talking about it, and then Slinky jumped down from the rocks and then wrapped himself around him, I was like, force field dog. Like, oh my god, for a fact this is imagination storytelling. Gosh, it's funny.
Yeah.
But I mean, I like the beginning. And did you know, on the front of the train there was a number 95 on that?
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, there was a number 95 on the front of the train in reference to Lightning McQueen's car number.
Ugh.
And from the movie Cars, and the year Toy Story was first released.
That's cool.
Yeah,
I know that Pixar usually hides A113 in a lot of their movies, so I'm always on the lookout for that number or that sequence of letter numbers or whatever. But I didn't notice there was a 95.
Well, I mean, I think it kind of happened kind of quick. You gotta be. Spot on to get that.
Yeah.
But I found it to be interesting, and I kind of read about
cool.
it too. So I was like, oh, cool.
That is cool. I didn't know that.
And then from there we came across. Well, of course, Jesse was already introduced riding on Bullseye. Another thing too that I thought was really funny was when she said "Yodelily-hoo" and echoed throughout the mountains.
Oh yeah, that was really funny.
And here comes Rex from out of the ground.
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty cool. What's another thing too? Ham flying in that really, really cool ship, dropping in those monkeys.
The monkeys from a barrel.
It looked really cool. The mushroom cloud and it just spreading towards them. I thought that was pretty neat.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. What else?
Honestly, I didn't really write down a whole lot for the opening sequence.
Oh, you didn't?
No, because I thought it was just like a cool little imagination. Like it's cool, it's great. A lot of it's really well done. But
what do you think it was a good intro into the movie?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
It kind of brought you back to, because at this point, it's from people or kids who have watched it in the original Toy Story from 1995 and the sequel in 1999. Now everyone's older, either adults or 18 or college kids, or they've got families of their own, and it's kind of a cool thing to go back and to revisit what you used to watch as a kid,
right?
With all the toys and all this, and then introduce if people who grew up with Toy Story had kids at that point. I'm sure I do not. But I'm sure that was a really cool experience to be like, hey, son, daughter, or whatever, that this is what I used to watch and grow up. And
I mean, that's what I thought when I first watched the movie. That's the same thing, because Toy Story was a movie that I watched and loved.
Yeah.
Of course, I had the Spanish version. Poor me. So anyways, so we move on. We come to the scene where the imagination is over with now, and then from there
Andy, it grows up basically.
Yeah, and like the homemade videos or movies that his mom made.
Yeah.
And it's funny too, because most parents, especially back in the '90s, when they had 8mm cameras, that's what they would do. They would either take pictures or they would record on their weird looking cameras from back then. and they would record every single moment, birthdays, Christmas, or just little just random moments in the house when they're playing or just doing nothing and stuff like that. So that was pretty neat. I like that because that's the same thing that happened to me when I was growing up. My dad had a camera and pretty much used it a lot.
My mom still does to this day.
Does she?
Yeah. At any big event that we do, she usually brings her camera and takes all kinds of pictures.
My mom, I could probably say the same thing about my mom, but she uses her phone and she just holds down the button, so she takes like 157 photos at one time. Oh my gosh! But no, so that was pretty neat. And then after that, we jump into the actual movie where we finally see Andy grown up, and all the toys are inside the
which is cool because
toy
again,
box.
people who watched the original when Andy was a kid, we're all grown up now. So
Yeah.
it's cool to bring Andy as an adult or a kid going to college, and it's really cool because literally that was my age at this point. Like, not literally, I was a little bit younger than this, but
I was 20.
it was close. It was
Yeah.
it was getting there, and it was like, oh, this is kind of cool because I relate. This is a cool like situation where I watched this franchise from the time I was a kid to now, and it's oh my god, he's grown up. I'm kind of grown up. Like,
Yeah.
this is cool. I can't think of another franchise that did this.
Right. No, I understand. And then we come to the part to where the toys manage to obtain his cell phone and a sock. I want to know how they got it though.
This was kind of funny because kids and you millennials nowadays. I mean, yeah, like we talked about in the last podcast for Toy Story 2 that we don't see like toy aisles or toy stores as much anymore. I mean, it's all video games and phones now. And so it's kind of cool for a toy to get your attention. He's got to take your cell phone.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's kind of sad,
Well, seeing Woody's reaction, when he heard Andy's voice over the phone, that was just a little heartbreaking for me. And I was like, damn, like, ooh.
Now, and I know Andy's 18 or going to college, so he's not going to be playing with toys much anymore.
No.
But, I mean, kids nowadays just don't play with toys much.
No, they do not.
They've got
Wi-Fi.
They've got their iPads, and they'll watch YouTube, and, I mean, that's how you keep them busy now. They don't play with toys as much anymore.
And Fortnite. You just can't forget about Fortnite.
Ugh, gross.
I know. But yeah, you're completely right. Well, ever since Wi-Fi just was invented and
I think that was kind of, and I don't know this for sure, but I think that was a choice that the filmmakers made, because if you watched for the first one, if you watch behind the scenes of the first one on Blu-ray, they all say that how much they still love toys, even though they're adults, they're toy collectors,
Yeah.
and it's the same people who made all three of these movies. So I'm sure that they saw the decline in toys and how, in a way, that part of them was like waning away. It was dying.
yeah.
Because they love toys and they love.
Well, I mean, I can relate. I mean, whenever we go to those, Comic-Con here in downtown Dallas, I want to buy toys, but I mean, it's not for me to play with. It's just I just want them as a collection. That's about it. But I mean, there's nothing wrong with that.
But that's the filmmakers were showing that, hey, the part of us is dying. Like, the whole toy thing is slowly degrading because we've got phones and all of this now, and no one plays them as much.
Right.
I think that was a clever choice for the filmmakers to include.
I think so too.
Yeah. So then Andy's leaving for college, and he's packing up his room and stuff, which is I thought it was pretty interesting. Poor cat. I thought it was pretty interesting. I was like, okay, so he's leaving for college. And to be honest, I didn't have that many toys.
Oh, I did
In my room when I was like leaving for college. Like at this point, I was already like done with them. I mean, I had some, but either they were like on a shelf because I'm like, oh, this is cool. Like, this is gonna stay.
No, by the time I want to say 15, 14, I finally got rid of most of them.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm not saying, not everyone's the same. But
No.
I didn't have that many toys when I was going into, 17, 16, 15,
Yeah.
19, whatever.
Yeah.
I just didn't have that many toys at that point. It was kind of traded all that for video games.
Of course, yeah, definitely. Another thing to point out too is somewhere in Andy's room, there was a sticker that was on the truck of the first Toy Story, KRAT-FM.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw that, but it's somewhere in the background. I think on the pushpin board that he had.
Yeah, I saw that too. Yeah.
It's another cool thing, a little reference from the first movie. But yeah, and we also noticed that in Andy's room it changed so much, and we can relate to that because either our rooms have like comic posters, and we got bands,
music posters, movie posters.
Yeah, it's stuff that we like. So it's what's going to happen, and we kind of just do that.
Yeah, I think that was cool too because as you know, in the first and second Toy Stories, you see Andy having like kid posters like Buzz and Woody and stuff like that. And when I was a kid, I had generic posters like that too. Like I had like a Phoenix poster because I thought it was cool looking. I'm like, oh, that's cool. But once you get older and you start moving into college, you start changing your generic decorations and you go with stuff that you like music or movies or comics or stuff like that. And that's kind of how Andy, again, he grew up with us. So we're seeing that section of ourselves in Andy.
Yeah. And to see Molly too, growing up as well. Most teenage girls, they're looking at magazines and they're listening to music and they're just like, I don't want to do anything. And, they're just like, I want to just get rid of stuff.
Most teenage boys do. I don't
Yeah.
know what you're talking about.
Well, I'm just saying because, Molly, how the way she was. And it's the same way too. But other than that, I guess you could say we can relate to it, very, very well. And it was, that's why I guess we had I had a connection to it, but it's just the movie. I just did not remember much of it. But, we'll talk about it here in just a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay. So we know...
he's getting rid of his toys, basically. Or not getting rid of them, per se. He's... his mom's telling him that, anything that's left in the room is either going in the trash or...
going to be donated.
Or I can keep it, just put it in the attic, but I need to know where everything's going.
Yeah. So he did go through the process of getting rid of stuff, and then he ended up keeping some of his toys. And I think when I first saw the movie, I was like, oh my God, he's going to throw them away because he grabbed the trash bag and he started just throwing them in there.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wow. Another moment that I can relate to because I did the same thing. I grabbed the trash bag and threw toys in there, and I think I don't know if they were going to be thrown away or we were just going to give them away. I don't remember, but I think the exact same thing. So, but watching the movie, I was like, oh my God, he's going to throw them away. Luckily, he didn't. And
he takes Woody, which is interesting to me.
Yeah.
'Cause, I get it's an old family toy, and that's completely understandable, but. I would think that if I'm moving off to college, and it's not like he's leaving forever, because I'm sure he's going to like a university. He'll be back every summer or winter and stuff like that. He could, in theory, leave Woody at the house.
Well, if he did that, wouldn't he leave his stuff inside his room?
Wasn't Molly talking about taking his old room?
I think so.
So probably not. He probably had to clean everything out if Molly was moving over to this room. Mm-hmm. So...
Damn you, Molly.
Either way, he had to clean out his stuff.
So we know that he ends up packing all the original toys into the trash bag, and he attempts to put the stuff in the attic.
But his mom mistakes it for trash.
Well, that's when he helps Molly out because she's carrying a big heavy box downstairs. So he helps her out, leaves it on the floor. His mom steps on it. And does whatever mom does, is yell your name out very loudly for you to hear. But she ends up picking it up and taking it outside. And at this point, Woody is not in the bag. He's still outside. Or he was put in the box, but then he jumped.
To go to college, yeah.
To go to college, but he jumped out and he was trying to get the toys out.
Because she put the bag on the curb, and it wasn't supposed to be there. It was supposed to be in the attic.
And I forgot to mention this. And guess who else was aging as well?
Sid.
We ain't talking about him right now. Buster.
Oh yeah, Buster's old.
Poor little guy, walking in all
poor little pup.
Poor little, probably arthritis on his bones and joints.
But he was cute.
He was. So then from there, yes, Sid did make an appearance, or did he?
He did.
Are you sure?
He's credited as Sid. So yeah.
Damn it.
In the credits, he is called Sid.
I figured, it could have been somebody else that had a T-shirt just like him,
Nah.
or
No.
might have gotten it at a thrift store and
No.
just, doing the rock and roll stuff.
Nope. Woody traumatized him, and he's now a trash man.
So play with us, nice.
I thought it was kind of cool though, adding Sid in there.
Yeah, I think it was too. But the thing is I mean, I wonder if they're still in the same neighborhood that they were in the first movie before they moved to the new house.
I would say they're in the same general area because they didn't go far. It didn't look like, I mean, they didn't get on a highway or anything. It looked like they may have gotten on like a main road,
Okay.
cutting through like a city or something. But I don't think it was. They're definitely in the same city.
Okay.
For sure. And depending on, where Sid worked, he might just have that area to cover.
Yeah.
So.
I think at that time when they were in the trash bag of toys, they were trying to figure out a way how to get out.
Yeah.
Why did they have to use Rex for everything? I've noticed that.
Might be the most sturdy of them.
Probably, even though he loses his mind very easily.
Yeah.
But I like that, and Woody, the reaction. I thought the toys got thrown into the trash can, the trash truck when I first watched the movie, and I was like, oh no, like what just happened? But watching in the background, seeing the toys get inside the recycle bin and just walk up to the garage, it was funny.
To back into the car, and then they get in the donation box with Molly's. Molly's Barbie.
Was it that, or was it?
Yeah, it was with Molly's Barbie.
Okay, I thought she was already. Okay, yeah. You're right. Her little reaction kind of made me laugh a little bit. It was just the way that she the way that she said her dialogue. Throw me away. I laughed. I laughed at that part.
So she's gonna donate these toys to the daycare center, so that all the kids can play with new toys. And Woody tries to tell him that Andy didn't mean to throw them away. They were supposed to go in the attic, but of course they don't listen to Woody.
No, of course not.
Because, well, to be fair, Woody did knock Buzz out of a window. So, I mean, he's not necessarily the most honest character here.
I think in Toy Story 1, they kind of made him kind of a villain, just a little bit.
I mean, yeah, but no.
No, but I mean, not all the way. But they kind of made him look like the bad guy because he was the jealous toy.
Yeah.
Because his main job was to beat Andy's toy.
Yeah.
But I guess that's what happens when you bring in new toys is you're going to end up playing with it more than your previous toys. So
Yeah.
All right. So so that's when Woody was trying to leave. Woody's mom ends up closing the back door of the van, and then that's when they take the trip to
The daycare.
to the daycare. And guess who shows up or not show up, but they introduced. It's Bonnie. Bonnie, right?
In the daycare.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's playing on top of the counter with her toys, and then her mom, who I assume will probably be.
Was that Bonnie?
Yeah,
Was it really?
that was her.
I don't remember that.
Yeah.
I just watched this and I don't remember that.
Well, after watching the trailer to Toy Story 4, just to kind of just get myself ready for the movie when we do go watch it, I noticed that was her. And I don't know, I can't remember if they showed her mom in the movie or not, but I think...
I don't know. I don't remember.
Or in the trailer, I'm sorry.
I don't remember.
I don't either. But anyways, but she's in there too. But Bonnie is the first person you get to see. She gets to see the toys. But
Oh, yeah, you're right. You're right, because... doesn't Andy's mom acknowledge Bonnie oh my gosh, you've gotten so big?
Yes.
Yeah.
And then Bonnie's so shy.
Yeah.
Hi. And so I think she takes a look inside the box and she's like, "Oh, toys!" But then they take the box away and she's like, "Oh."
Yeah.
So the box gets taken to one of the rooms.
Was it the caterpillar room or something?
Yes. What is the caterpillar room?
Whatever. She gets taken to a room.
No. The butterfly room.
Yeah, sure.
The caterpillar room is the hellhole place, which I fucking hated that scene. So then from there, the toys knock themselves off the counter. They
Talk to the new toys.
They talk to the new toys.
Or the daycare toys.
Their reaction had me laughing because when I watched it again, and they were just staring with their mouths open like, But then they're like, new toys.
Yeah,
So they got to meet everybody, and then
that's where we meet Lotso.
Lotso. How you doing, folks? He's such a. I like his character. I like him being the little stuffed animal. I liked it, and especially how the way they introduced him. He was in the back of a truck, dump truck. I used to have one of those. Dump trucks.
Oh, one of the dump trucks.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
But it wasn't.
I thought you were talking about the bear, and I was like,
No.
what?
I used to have a dumpster truck, yellow with black big
Tonka.
black wheels, and the cool thing about it was not plastic. It was actually
Yeah, I had
metal.
one of those too.
They were like I put that damn thing through hell, and it was the only part that was bent was the very back, one of the flaps that.
You're acting like Dwight with the stroller, throwing it against like barbed wire and stuff. Oh no, my child!
Yeah, I pretty much did that as a kid.
Yeah, I had one. I had like an entire like it was either me or my brother. I don't remember, but we had the entire like Tonka collection. So we had like the dump truck, the big bulldozer, the big.
Oh, I didn't have all that. I just
the forklifts, the not a crane, but like one of those like. I guess it's a forklift. It's just a different looking forklift.
Okay.
But we had that entire like Tonka collection thing. And
How
it was,
cool.
Yeah, they were metal, they were heavy, and that brought back a little bit of nostalgia when Lotso was riding in that little thing.
Nice. I wanted to bring up something too, maybe something that you can answer. If not, maybe the listeners can probably answer. Now, when Woody was explaining to the toys inside the box, inside the van about daycare, my question is how does he know about daycare?
Do you think maybe Andy took him at any point in time?
I don't know.
Because
But see, that's the thing too. Can you take toys to daycare? Because
I mean, I did.
you did.
Yeah.
I don't remember if I did.
I mean, it took a couple. My mom always. I think my mom told me don't take anything you want to lose.
Yeah,
But you can take something.
Well, I mean, for me, I've told Alina. By the way, guys, Alina is a 6-year-old little girl that I have adopted. Not really. She's not mine biologically. I wish she was, but if you ever hear her name, that is who it is. I take care of her whenever I can. She's just the most adorable thing ever in the world. So, getting back to my point here is I told Alina, I said, don't take any toys. And she asked why. And I said, well, if you lose it, you lose it. Or you're probably going to have someone who's going to take it from you.
Or you're going to be forced to share it. Or,
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, I don't remember. See, I was in daycare for a little bit, but I don't remember a whole lot of it. I remember, like, I would take, like, a Power Ranger with me or something like that.
Okay.
Nothing, like that I was, like, gonna lose. Like, it was something I'm like, oh, I'll just take a Power Ranger. It's cool.
Yeah.
Or I think I took a couple little Batman figures, because when Batman and Robin came out, I had, like, the entire collection of like Batman, Batgirl, Mr. Freeze.
Yeah.
I mean, I had all of that, so I'm sure I took some of that with me.
Okay. So if for you listeners out there, let us know in a comment or on as a tweet or on Facebook, whatever, what you guys would think, or what do you guys think? How did Woody know about daycare? Did Andy take him to daycare at one point before the movies even started, or is it just something that he wanted?
This also contradicts the point we brought back up in Toy Story 2. Is if it wasn't Andy, how does Woody remember it and not remember
himself
anything else?
Right. Okay.
So question. That's a good discussion.
It just came to mind when he was talking to him. I was like, oh, well, like how does he know? So anyways, so moving on. So we get to the point to where Lotso is finally introduced, and he's given the toys a tour of.
Well, don't forget we get introduced to Ken as well.
Oh, Ken.
Barbie's infatuation.
I'm sorry, I did not know it was Michael Keaton who plays that.
I think that's hilarious.
I did not know until I watched the behind the scenes when we saw the actors doing the voiceover for the character.
Yeah.
I saw him playing Ken. I was like, wait a minute, he plays him? I was like, I can't even. I didn't
realize that when I first watched it the first time, but when I went back and watched it again, I could hear him.
Could you?
Yeah, there was certain things that he would say, and I was like, no shit. Really? That's Michael Keaton? That's cool.
I thought it was cool too. So it's interesting to know that he played Ken, and I thought it was really neat. Ken starts on the second floor of the little dollhouse.
Oh yeah.
He goes to the elevator and just slowly goes down.
Yeah.
It was pretty cool. I like that. I was like, okay, that's a pretty neat way to introduce Ken to the whole mix. That's neat.
So yeah, and at this point, he gives the toys a tour and everything, and he's explaining that they never run out of kids; they'll always be played with.
I thought that was neat. That was a good explanation about daycare to toys.
Yeah.
I mean, we all know what daycare is, but to the toys that don't know, who have always had an owner,
Yeah.
for so long, to
And then
them,
they're worried about getting. I mean, I'm sure it's almost like death, right? So as a toy, you're always in this universe. I'm sure you're always thinking like the kid will one day grow up, and what is going to happen to me? Mm-hmm. And so this was kind of cool. This was a nice like alternative answer for the toys.
Yeah.
Like, okay, well Andy's dead basically. He ain't gonna play with us anymore. He hasn't played with us in years, right? So here's an out so that I can still get what I want to get out of it.
and the toy seems very excited to actually
yeah.
be part of that,
Yeah.
because that's all they want to be part of is be around kids who want to play with them.
Yeah. And then, I mean, they're really excited about it. And then Woody's like, "This ain't gonna work. We need to go home because we're still Andy's." And everyone else is like, "Yep, nope, we're gonna stay here because we're gonna get played with here, and Andy's done with us."
Yeah.
And yeah, that doesn't work out so well.
So then from there, so it's Ken walking alongside Lotso as they're talking about the daycare, continuing with the tour.
And then Ken takes Barbie, basically,
Yes. Oh, immediately he saw her.
Yeah.
He just falls in love with her.
which is really funny.
I think I've met you before. No, no, you haven't.
Yeah, so he takes Barbie up to his room or to his house or whatever it is, and then the rest of the toys get left in
The caterpillar room.
the
But
caterpillar room.
but as they went through the bathroom to get to the caterpillar room, I'm sorry I had to bring this up because this had nothing. I mean, this is not that important, but I laughed because it was unexpected and I completely forgot about it. Mr. Potato Head falling down. He slipped because it was water. He just slipped and all his parts just came apart, and that was funny to me. I'm sorry, that was funny. I had to bring that up into that. Even Big Baby. I don't know if he had a name or not.
Big Baby.
Big Baby. Fair enough. Yeah, I was like, that's kind of creepy. And the big,
Yeah, it was really creepy.
The Big Baby kind of reminded me of the baby head on the spider legs in Sid's room, and I was like, okay, that's pretty.
Yeah.
Creepy. I'm just gonna say that right now.
Even the eyes kind of looked a little weird, little off looking.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then at this point, Woody's like leaving. He's like, "All right, whatever, you guys stay here. I'm gonna go back to Andy." And then Woody's in the bathroom and hiding. Was it a janitor?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. And he's trying to get from the toilet up to the window, and he almost falls in too. Because didn't he put like half a roll of toilet paper in the toilet?
I think so. If not, it just fell into the floor.
Yeah.
But yeah, as soon as he got to the very top, he was about to climb out the window, and then from there, when he's like, "What the?"
Yeah.
In the mirror, I'm like, "Oh," he sees him like,
And then
"What?"
Yeah, the mirror's dirty.
There we go. I'm like, oh wow, like that is so close.
Yeah.
That is so close. Oh, another thing too is I don't know if this is really important, but I figured it might be kind of in a way because it was a toy that has the red phone on top of him. I don't really know if he has a name or not, but he was bumping into Woody's leg. To me, I think it was kind of an early on
trying to get his attention.
Yeah, but nobody like first time watching it or first time watching would like why
because
why is he doing
once
that?
he goes back, that same toy is trying to get his attention again. This time he picks up the phone, and
I really like that.
I had one of those.
I thought that was really cool. Like I know he had a mouth, but I did not I wasn't paying attention to where it was actually drawn on the outside. I thought it was just like just a mouth that every other toy would have.
Right.
But it's not. So I was like, oh, so that's why he's not talking. But I'm like, that's clever to use the phone as his way to communicate with anybody who
Well, yeah, that's where his voice box would come out at.
Yeah.
Essentially.
Yeah. So I like that.
I had one of those.
So Woody finds a way to get out, and
Gets caught on a tree.
Well, first he finds a kite on top of the roof, and he uses that, and it works until he gets over the wall, and then picks him up in the air, and it just scatters him all over the air, and then from there falls into the tree,
Loses his hat.
and loses his hat. Bonnie
Yes,
finds
Bonnie.
him.
Yeah, Bonnie.
and takes him home,
Yes.
and then and that's when we go back into the caterpillar room, I think, or we go to her house.
I don't remember. No, I think we go to Bonnie's house.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we go to Bonnie's house first, and then
No, I think it goes back into the daycare. And that's when finally those kids run in and just start destroying them.
Are you sure? I thought they go to Bonnie's house first.
I don't know, but either way, I mean,
Yeah, because I feel like that's where. Yeah, because they go to Bonnie's house first.
okay.
And then that's where Woody finds out that it's kind of a prison. And then I think it cuts back to the rough play.
That's right, and that's because they talk about like they ask him like, how did you escape?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's a good point. And then finally, when I think one of them starts talking about Lotso, that's when Lotso and he's like, uh-oh, like shit. But and from there, I think we go back to the daycare, and then that's when the kids come in.
Wait. We didn't introduce my favorite character,
Go ahead,
Mr. Pricklepants.
Mr. Pricklepants.
Little-
Cool. Why is he your favorite character?
It's so funny.
Why?
I like when Bonnie brings Woody home, and they're all playing together, and Bonnie leaves, and then the toys get up and talk to each other, and this is where Woody gets introduced to like Dolly and Trixie and the rest of her toys, which I think Trixie and Rex should have had more scenes together. But anyway, so Woody gets introduced to all of the toys, and everyone gets up and tries to talk, and I think it's Dolly that goes, and this is Mr. Pricklepants talking to the little porcupine thing, and then he just breaks, he goes, shh, and then goes back to like inanimacy, and then Woody's like, wait, what is his deal? And then he goes, shh, and he goes back to being a toy. And then what is Dolly says something, and he's like, I'm trying to stay in character. His whole thing is he's like a Shakespearean actor or some shit.
Yeah,
It's hilarious.
he's dressed up like Robin Hood, or he's got like he's got like a green outfit.
He's got like a lederhosen.
Yeah,
and
something like that.
like a little hat. Voiced by Timothy Dalton, by the way.
Yes.
Which is fantastic. He's so funny. I needed more Mr. Pricklepants, and I didn't get it, which is quite depressing.
Well, maybe they might show him more in Toy Story 4.
I hope so.
Yeah, we'll have to find out about that later on. Okay, so the next thing we go into would be the daycare. We go back to the daycare, and chaos begins. Hell is unleashed by kids who just start grabbing the toys, the new toys that Lotso left in there. And I had a feeling that was his intention. Just watching it again
after all of that went down, and then Buzz said, okay, this is not cool, we need to be with you. Even Lotso said, hey, we've all been there. Those who survive get to come into this room.
That's so stupid.
Once new toys come, then you guys get to move. It's like a promotion.
Initiation.
Yeah, you guys get to you pay your dues kind of thing, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but
I'm just gonna throw it out there.
Lotso's a dick.
I'm gonna throw it out there, and you probably will agree with me. I hated that scene. All the kids.
Okay, look, I was in daycare for a while, and I don't remember playing with toys that rough.
Well, I was in daycare too, but I don't either.
I don't remember being that disrespectful to toys.
And that disgusting.
Yeah.
Hey, let me just kiss Buzz.
Or dipping Jesse's hair in paint.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
Green paint.
Man, this is why I don't want kids. Because if I knew my kid acted like that at a daycare, you wouldn't see him the next day.
They ruin everything. Not really.
Like, no. No.
Well, with me having expensive stuff, I'm going to have to literally put like a gate or something around it or put a leash on the kid.
That's how I feel. I've got expensive stuff too, and I don't want my kid.
Oh, yeah. They'll be like, oh my God, like, what is this? And they'll knock it over. They're so angry.
My kids shouldn't be playing with toys that way in general. Like, I'd be so mad. You're going to throw a doll's hair in paint because why? And, like, I get it. Like, you're a kid.
They don't know better?
You're a kid and you're going to play with toys and you can be rough with toys, but that rough is ridiculous. Like...
Well, I hated that scene.
I did too.
And the music did not help at all.
And I like when...
it was perfect for that scene. I thought it was really, really well composed and it went along with the scene, but I really did not like it.
I love when the kid's like going all over Buzz's face, and Buzz is just, like, it just zooms in on Buzz's face, and you can just, even though his face doesn't move, you can tell he's like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God.
I thought the exact same thing. Oh my God.
He's sitting there going, what the fuck? Like, he does not move, but you can tell in his for some reason in his eyes, you're like, I'm so sorry.
He could have just karate chopped that damn kid.
Karate chop action. Buzz, Buzz, Buzz Lightyear to the rescue.
And then so later on that night, later on after that scene happened, when all the toys get destroyed by those damn kids, we go back to Bonnie's house, and Woody somehow knows how to use a computer.
Yeah. But I mean, to be fair, Rex played video games in the last one, so.
That was video games. That was just a couple.
Well, yeah,
buttons
but
here.
Andy also had a computer in his room, so I guarantee Woody was on the computer at some point.
Not when he was little, though.
Not when he was little, but when he was in a college. I mean, he still had
Okay.
how many years
Yeah.
with a computer?
Fair enough. Yeah, he could have been out of the toy box or whatever, running around when Andy was not in his room.
Yeah.
Good point. Okay, cool. But I found it to be really cool. Like,
I do want to know how many people got catfished by Trixie, though.
That's a good point.
Because what does the message say? Something very adulty.
It does. I don't remember what it says, but yes, I think it.
Or what he's like, who is sexy dinosaur or something like that.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever.
And he's like, whoa, that's me. And then it was nothing. It's nothing.
She jumps in. That's just a velociraptor down the street.
Yeah.
And then the funny thing is, she doesn't type anything. She's just like her paws.
Yeah.
Her paws are just all over the place. And she's so embarrassed by it.
Just a dinosaur down the street.
I thought it was cute.
But I want to know how many people got catfished by a toy dinosaur. Like, can you imagine going on a date and you're just sitting there and, like, there's a toy dinosaur sitting right where your date's supposed to be?
Oh, that explains the AIM message that I got that one year. Crap. So Woody is looking for an address. He's looking for
Where the daycare's at.
yes. Wait, is he?
I think so.
No. He was looking
He's looking for Andy's house. He's looking
looking
how close he is to Andy's house.
and then from there, that's when he's introduced to Chuckles.
Yeah, Chuckles and Big Baby. Or not Big Baby.
Right.
Just Chuckle. But
Chuckles.
Chuckles explains the story about Big Baby
And Lotso and himself as well.
Yeah.
Which by the way, he doesn't like he likes to chuckle as much anymore.
He's a sad clown.
The story was interesting. I completely forgot about the story of how him and Lotso and Big Baby how they just ended up not having an owner anymore. And
Yeah, how the girl forgot her toys
Yeah.
at some field or whatever.
well, it wasn't her fault. She
No,
she
no,
fell
not at
asleep,
all. Mm-hmm.
and the parents should have known. So I blame it on the parents. But it was sad to know that toys get left behind. Like sometimes I know what animals can get left behind as well,
Mm-hmm.
and somehow they find their way home, which is a very amazing instinct that for themselves. But when they arrive to the house, Lotso looks in the window. He sees that they've been replaced, which is mainly him.
Yeah, he was replaced.
He was replaced.
But Big Baby and Chuckles weren't.
Yeah, and of course, he convinced them to follow his lead, and they
Yeah,
did.
he convinced them that Daisy was her name.
Yeah.
Replaced all of them, and that from this point on, that they were on their own and they don't have an owner anymore.
So we see the scene of them walking away, and it starts to rain. I think at that point, I really liked how Lotso's fur was starting to get wet by just the few drops that was dropping on him. I like that. That was pretty neat. But then we see them sitting on the back of the truck on the bumper, just riding just to catch a ride somewhere, just
Yeah,
wherever
and
it
then they
takes
get
them.
knocked off where the daycare's at.
Yep.
Plot convenience, but that's fine.
And then that's when they end up walking towards the daycare, and that's
And
that's
then
about
Lotso
it.
takes it over, and
Well, after that, we go back to seeing Chuckles. He's got Daisy's heart thing written in his hand,
yeah, from Big Baby.
and then from there, you're like, oh, so that's the reason why he's the way he is. And now Woody's determined to go back to the daycare to save everybody.
Yeah, because he figures they're not ever getting out, and it's not what Lotso made it out to be. Yeah. So then at this point, Buzz is asking Lotso to move all the toys to the other room.
Also, I wanted to bring up
Yeah.
Bonnie playing with Woody with the other toys as tea time. That was also another little reference to Toy Story 1 when Hannah.
Mrs. Nesbit.
This is Nesbit. I just had to say that
My
because
favorite thing from all these movies.
it's funny because he loses his mind.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's kind of it was another reference to Toy Story 1, which I found to be pretty neat. And so then from there.
Yeah, Buzz is asking Lotso to move the toys to the other room, and Lotso's like, no. And so then I thought this was really cool. They kind of capture Buzz, and then return him to factory settings.
But first, they had to contact the bookworm. Or
Yeah, that's. I think that's really cool because that is so like interesting. How did they have a
manual.
Buzz Lightyear? I can understand because he's relatively a newer toy. Not really. I mean, you would think. I mean, it's 10 years old by now.
I think so. Yeah.
So I mean, either way. But I think it's cool because he's got the knowledge of all the toys. So I think that was a cool little idea to put in.
Yeah.
I
thought it was too.
They
Excuse me.
turn him back to factory settings, which again is a cool idea because then he goes back to being a space ranger.
Yes.
It's so funny.
Yeah.
That was like, okay, this is really clever. This is
It was neat to see that happen, but for him to fight his friends that he doesn't know anymore, and just gathering them all up in a pile, kind of just it bothered me. And I think it was just because to hear the other toys' reactions and just agony as they were being, hit or thrown and just piled up, and then seeing Lotso's face as just his eyebrows or his eyes just starting to look like they're like, oh, I'm evil, and I'm like, oh, like this bothered me. But I guess it was a good part of showing like he's back to factory settings, and now I can control him to do what I want him to do because he'll listen to me because he's nobody. He just knows that he's a ranger.
Yeah. So I thought this was really cool. This whole part I thought was really fun. And then I also really like the part where Mrs. Potato Head where they get captured by Buzz.
Yes.
And she like looks through her other eye.
Yeah, I found that to be interesting too. I really like that.
Yeah.
That whole idea because I think when I first watched it again, this past weekend, I started asking myself, I was like, where's her eye? And I know before they went to daycare,
she had mentioned losing it.
Yeah, it's somewhere dark and dusty.
Yeah.
That's the way she said it. And now that she ended up using her eye while they were trapped in those cages, and she covered one eye just for the other one so she can see the other one, which I find it kind of weird that she can't just see the other one and the one that's attached to her.
Yeah, that's what you'd have to think she'd have to like holding one eye closed all the time.
Yeah. So, but I thought that was pretty cool, and that's when she was warning everybody or telling them like, "Hey, this is what's going on."
Yeah, Andy really didn't mean to throw us away.
Yeah,
and Woody was right.
And,
of course.
God. And then everybody, well, I told you guys, Woody was telling the truth.
Yeah.
Thank you, Slinky.
Yeah. So Woody tries to return to the daycare and talks to the little telephone this time. And this is when the telephone tells everything and also explains that the only way he's getting out is the trash.
I loved how he had the knowledge of the entire facility.
Yeah.
I like that because I don't know exactly if he's been stuck in that room his entire toy life. I don't know, but he knows exactly everything. He knows about the monkey. He knows about the cameras and
the chatter telephone. I mean, that's an old toy.
It is. It is.
I mean, that's an old toy. Like, I used to have those. One similar to it.
I think my cousin used to have
and
one.
Even that, it wasn't mine. It was like handed down to me.
Yeah.
So like they're old, so he might have been there for quite some time.
I believe it. But it's just really neat for him for an old timer like him to actually to have the knowledge of the entire place. Like I said, the where the cameras were placed and
the monkey and
and this just everybody patrolling the area. It was really neat. And basically, I want to say everything that happens was Woody's idea. Usually it is. Mm-hmm. And for Woody to come up with stuff, and I really hate about saying this because every time I try and make a plan of something, it never goes according to plan. But no, for Woody, everything happens so perfectly.
Yeah.
Why? I know it's a movie. Why?
Plot armor. So yeah, they basically Woody comes up with a plan, but the telephone tells him the only way you're getting out of here is the trash. Mm-hmm. So they got to make it to the dumpster, which is cool. I think that was pretty cool because...
Well, I mean, he's got a point because that's pretty much... Well, that's not the only way to get out, but...
That's the easiest way to get out without anyone seeing them.
Yeah.
So then they basically... Barbie dresses up as like... No, this is another one of my favorite scenes. So they get Barbie to talk to Ken. And so they tie Ken up. And start ripping all of his like costumes up.
I love how they use that against him because that's what he really appreciates, and he loves his clothes.
It's so funny. So they rip up a lot of his clothes, and I forget what he says, but it's like the summer collection of 90 something. He's like, no, I'll tell you. I'll tell you everything. It's like, all right.
Because it was the only collection, and he had that
Yeah,
collection.
yeah.
There was he couldn't get him anywhere else. That's right.
So then Barbie dresses up in like an astronaut
Yes. Oh my God. Yes. That's
to
the
go
funny scene.
to go see Bookworm to get the manual for Buzz Lightyear, and then she gets it eventually,
Here you go, Ken.
and then she walks out.
And then she does a salute.
Yeah,
to
the salute.
Doesn't
She
say
walks
anything.
out with the heels and everything, and the Bookworm just looks at it like, whatever.
Damn it, Ken.
That makes me laugh because at some point Ken had to have worn like some audacious outfit in front of Bookworm for him to go,
Yeah.
man, what? I think it's funnier because it's heels with the astronaut costume.
Yes.
Like not even boots, nothing like that. It's with blue sparkly heels with
Yeah, his peculiar
silver-
fashion sense is pretty. It's
Yeah.
pretty funny. And like you said, like Bookworm's like, whatever. He's used to it already.
Yeah. So then they get the manual for Buzz, and then they capture Buzz basically. And again, this is
By the way, the room where all the toys were imprisoned.
yeah.
I love the lighting in that room.
Oh, it's dark
It was nice.
and the shadows were really good.
Yes, they were. I loved it.
Yeah.
I loved the blueness, and it was really nice. I loved it. Oh gosh. So yeah, they managed to capture Buzz.
And then turn him into Spanish mode.
No, but before that, I laughed when when they finally trapped him in that plastic container, that see-through plastic container.
Yeah.
He uses the laser, makes a perfect circle,
Oh yeah.
and then boom, knocks himself out. Oh man. I was like, oh my God, it's funny.
Yeah.
I like that. And then he just knocked out, and I swear Ham and Rex. Oh no, and Ham and Rex were fighting each other, and I think he said that's the reason why dinosaurs were extinct.
Yeah.
And they were just girly fighting or slapping their hands together. That's funny.
Yeah. So then they turn Buzz into Spanish mode.
Oh,
which
my.
is hilarious. I think this is so funny.
But I find it weird how since it was switched to demo and you put it back to play, it just did not want to work.
I mean, good point. I don't know.
I found that to be just kind of off a little bit because usually when you turn something on or off, it usually works. But but I mean, toys that we've had. Correct me if I'm wrong. Have you ever come across a demo switch?
Yeah.
Have you?
Yeah.
I don't think I have.
Not on many toys, but there's been a select few that I've seen. Like, I don't think it's called demo. There was a couple that might have been, but it was more like. Do you remember? It's my favorite part is getting toys. When there was a toy that would like talk or make noise or whatever, and you had to pull the little white tab out.
No, because of the battery.
Right. Yeah. Well, there was a couple that I remember. Like you had to pull that out and then unscrew it, and then switch it to play mode. I don't remember.
If it's anything that if it's something that I can relate to what you're saying, I think it's one of those. For me, it was one of those robots where they can walk, but it's just sliding. And it used to be, it would stop, fire, it would just walk. And
Yeah.
I think one of those had to switch. I just don't remember.
Well, it would make sense because you wouldn't want it in the box trying to walk away, or trying to move and hurt the gears or the
Yeah.
the mechanics inside of its legs. So yeah, that might have a demo mode, and you might have to switch it
Yeah.
so that it could make itself move once you get it out of the box.
Return of the astronaut. Sorry, I had to throw that in there.
But I've never seen a toy that if I do that, it switches to Spanish mode. It's funny.
Yeah.
It's hilarious, but I've just never seen a toy do that.
Oh, when he jumps up and the wings are out and everybody just flies away, he's just standing there, fancy. And then he opens up his arm piece and with a
Yeah.
log, and he starts speaking in Spanish.
And then he falls in love with Jessie.
Yep.
That was really funny too. And the whole time he's sitting there trying to court Jessie, and they're sitting there trying to get like out of the daycare, and he's just trying to like.
The dancing scene in the yard.
Oh yeah.
That was so funny. The part that made me laugh more was when he was circling her.
Yeah.
He got kind of low and he was looking. He bent his back down and just looked straight up at her and just started like walking around her. Oh, that was funny.
Yeah.
I love
it. Like it was like and didn't he like move his arms or something?
it. In circles.
Yeah.
All he needed was just a red blanket. That's all he needed.
It's hilarious. I love it. So yeah, eventually the toys get to the dumpster or the little trash chute thing.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they almost get caught by Big Baby at one point,
Oh my god. Okay, Big Baby. Whenever he heard the
and turns his like the Exorcist turns his head all the way around.
yeah, but that entire time he was staring in that direction.
Yeah.
And Woody and the aliens that were hiding behind that
The little ledge.
the ledge right there. And then for that whole entire scene, that Big Baby should have seen that bucket move. Mm-hmm. But when he walked up, there was no one there. And then when he walked away, there they are inside the bucket. I'm like,
See, that's what I thought too. Like I was
Okay.
at that point, I was like, oh god, they got caught.
Like I understand you have one eye open,
Yeah,
but you can still see.
they got caught. Like I was sure of it, and then I was like, okay, where'd they go? Did they bury themselves in the wood chips maybe?
Yeah.
And then the bucket, and I'm like, that was not what?
Yeah.
Okay, whatever.
Yeah.
Plot armor.
I find it so sad that he was just sitting on the swing, just staring up at the moon. That's so
He
sad.
misses Daisy.
I know.
So sad.
This entire time he has missed her, and I don't know. I don't know if they mentioned the time, how long they've been separated from
I
her.
don't think so.
But it might have been quite a while.
I don't remember hearing it, but we could be wrong.
Mm-hmm.
So they get to the trash chute, and then Lotso finds out, and his whole gang shows up again. And the little rubber octopus thing
Yeah.
goes down the trash chute with them and is basically like trying to force them into the trash.
Yeah.
Because they see the trash truck coming. I don't know any trash truck that runs at night
No.
or that early in the morning.
No, I was gonna say maybe so, but no, because most trash trucks nowadays it's either through the actual city or contractors. But everything is ran
During the day.
during the morning time. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So I don't know. I couldn't tell you.
Either way.
But I think that right there is when the confrontation starts happening, when Woody just starts throwing the truth into Laszlo's face, and everybody
Yeah,
that's
where he
around there.
says you lied to Big Baby, and she didn't replace them; she replaced you, and you're just mad, and you had to bring everyone down with you, and yeah. And doesn't Ken and Barbie do something here?
Oh,
No, yeah, Ken's back over with Lotso, right? And he's like, Barbie, come with me, and she's like, I'm not going anywhere because these are my friends, and something like that. I don't remember exactly what they say.
I don't remember either. But she convinces him of something, and doesn't he join the group?
I don't think he joins the group because he's not present for any of the other part. But I don't think Barbie is either.
No.
So I don't know.
Oh, they went back to the house. I think that's what happened.
I don't think they got put in the trash. I think they were able to jump over it because I think the only ones got put in the trash were the main toys.
Yes, and
I don't-
Lotso, of course.
Yeah, well, yeah. But I don't remember, like, Barbie wasn't there, and I just watched this and I don't remember what happened to Barbie and Ken.
Welcome to my world. You're lowering yourself to my fucking level.
No,
Robert.
there's only this one.
Stop hanging out with me. You'll be like me soon enough.
Yeah, that's what happens. Yeah, they fall into the truck while trying to rescue Woody, and all of them eventually fall in with the trash except Barbie and Ken.
Okay.
Yeah, I remember that because
Okay.
Woody falls in the trash bin.
Well, yeah, because Lotso drags him in there.
Right. Yeah, and then the other ones are like, "Oh my gosh, we gotta go save him," and at that point, Barbie stayed behind with Ken. That's what happened.
Okay.
I remember that. It took me a minute, but I got it.
Hey, you got it.
Yeah, Big Baby throws Lotso in the dumpster. That's why.
Yes.
Because Big Baby found out that Lotso was lying to him
And
or
Big
her
Baby
or whatever.
And Big Baby is the only. I think he's the tallest or is the tallest. toy
Tallest
there,
and
so they has
strongest,
to,
I'm sure,
Yeah, so
yeah.
they had to make it the strongest.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so then they get taken to...
Oh, the whole conversation when Lotso was giving his explanation about something, his anger as he was expressing when he was saying his dialogue, I love that part. It was very dramatic, and you can just feel his anger towards Daisy just replacing him.
Yeah, well, I mean, I really like whoever what's his name? Ned Beatty. I thought he was a really good choice to play Lotso.
Well, I think from what I heard is that he was in other drama movies or whatever, and that he did very well. So for them to bring him into the whole for Toy Story 3 to play Lotso.
Yeah.
I thought it was a really good choice.
Yeah,
too.
he was in. I mean, the one I remember him from is I remember him from Superman. The what's his name? Christopher Reeves. Is that it? Yeah, Christopher Reeves. I remember him from that one.
Okay.
I know he was in that, and I think he was in Deliverance as well.
Huh.
But I could be wrong. But I remember him from Superman for sure. That's where I remember him specifically from. But yeah, he was in a lot of drama movies and stuff. But he was a good Lotso. I really liked him.
No, I did.
His voice fit very well.
Did too.
Yeah, so then they get thrown in the trash truck and they get basically taken to the dump. Which, man,
Yeah.
this whole part was interesting.
Lotso was not seen until they got to the conveyor belt. But yeah.
Well, the funny part was they got thrown into the landfill or the dump or whatever, and they all got thrown into this conveyor belt area, except the little aliens because they see the claw and they run off to the claw.
Yeah, and then from there, that big old plower, I guess you want to call it, plows them away, and then from there, you're like, oh my god, they're dead.
No, I never thought that. Well, I mean, I never thought that.
I did. I did.
No, I was like, no, there's gonna be something.
Well, when I first saw it, yeah, that's what I thought because the music went very well with that scene, and then that's when you started thinking like, oh my god, like they're gonna start knocking them off one by one. Not everybody, just a few. But of course, I was wrong. But at that time, I was like, oh, like damn, like they just got rid of those three. So I was like, oh shit, okay. So moving on.
Yeah, I never thought that was gonna happen. Not with that anyway. I was
this entire segment, dude. I'm gonna be honest here, and you probably were the same. But I mean, of course, we have different minds. I was sitting there, like just staring at the screen, like I didn't have an expression. I was probably barely breathing. I was
what
just
part?
The whole the recycle place.
Oh no! See, I was fine until they got in the incinerator.
Oh, I wasn't.
See, the whole time, I mean, it was tense. It's very good, very well done. But I never thought anything was going to happen until the incinerator. Mm-hmm. Like the conveyor belt, that whole situation. I was like, oh, they're going to get out of this. It's fine. Like it's all good.
I thought they were too when I first saw it. But I mean, I was feeling tensed up.
And then at this point, Lotso's like, it looks like he's remorseful, and so.
Oh yeah, because he's trapped underneath that golf club case.
I think so.
Yeah, that's what
so
it
Woody
was.
and Buzz go and try to help him, and then they're starting to run. The conveyor belt starts moving, and they can't escape it. So they throw Lotso up there to try and get him to stop it, and he doesn't stop it.
Oh, that bastard!
Yeah, I know. I was like, oh, this is gonna be a nice little moment. Okay, fuck you too, Lotso.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Where's your human now, Woody?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
So they get thrown in the incinerator, and at this point, not at this exact point, but when they go down to the incinerator and Woody's trying to climb up, and then all of a sudden like it gets super tense, and Buzz is like, hey man, it's over, we're done.
At this point, the music is not helping.
Yeah, no. And at this point I was like,
helping at all.
oh my god, they're gonna do it. To
me, I think they were still a little far back. I mean, they could have at least held hands when they were a little closer, but I mean, it's whatever.
No, it's fine. I think this is perfectly fine. Mm-hmm. I want, and look, I know some older movies did it. I want Disney to grow a set of balls and kill some people. Like, I know Disney's family friendly and everything, but like, could you imagine the emotional weight something would carry if they actually killed off one of their characters? Mm-hmm. Like, I hate Tangled because they killed off one of their characters. I was like, oh my god, Disney grew some. And then he comes back by some magical bullshit. I hated that, and I hate Tangled to this day because of that. I was like, oh my god, good job, Disney. I appreciate...
No.
Oh, okay. So, this is stupid. Like, I hate it so much. And this is fine. This isn't necessarily, like, it's not going to be a better movie if they killed off the toys. Like, but maybe one of them? Maybe not even one of the main toys. Maybe one of Lotso's gang.
And see, when Toy Story 3 was in development, and even when it was released, I don't know if they were talking about a fourth one. Like, I don't know if he was even discussed.
I don't think you should ever discuss sequels when you make a movie.
Okay.
I think you should always take it, this is the film we need to work on. Like Christopher Nolan, when he was doing the Batman trilogy, he never looked at, because, not to go off on a different movie tangent, but when he was making The Dark Knight, his whole plan was to have Joker in The Dark Knight and in the next one. And he wasn't he wasn't ever going to make Two-Face until the third one. And the whole plan was, apparently, I think this is right. I'll have to look this up. Citation needed. But Christopher Nolan
Citation noted.
was going to have the entire film would be about Joker. That's the main villain, right? And then the whole thing with Two-Face was cut out. Harvey Dent was there, but not Two-Face.
Okay.
At some point, Batman was going to capture the Joker. And then in the third movie, it was going to start out with like the court scene where Harvey Dent's prosecuting Joker, and that's when he throws acid in Harvey's face, and then he becomes Two-Face. And that was the third movie. But then he decided, no, I'm not going to do that because I don't want to sacrifice what could be a fantastic film for a third film. I want to make this film. And then we'll focus on the next one later. And I think that's how every filmmaker should look at film and make this movie and not have to look forward to a sequel. I'm looking at you, Jurassic World 2.
Well, technically he's looking at my wall, but I do have to say, well, I mean, this again, we're off topic here, but it's fine. It's all good because we're still talking. We're still talking about movies.
This is on topic because this is looking towards the future of this franchise.
But to continue what you're saying, well, what Nolan was saying, I mean, The Dark Knight was a wonderful movie.
It was, but could you imagine it ending? Not like I can't imagine ending any different.
Yeah,
that was a good ending, and like, could you imagine the Joker actually not? Or Two-Face not ever showing up. Like, I think Two-Face grounded some of the movie because he introduced... You had Batman, who is order, Joker, who is chaos, and Two-Face, who is chance. That's a very good grounding to the two polar opposites.
Yeah.
He's directly in the middle, and that was like a balance out. And I can't imagine there being not that balancer somewhere in that film.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think Christopher Nolan. If that's what he said, I'm almost positive I heard this somewhere.
Well, knowing him and how the way he directs his movies, I think he kind of looks. He doesn't look ahead.
Well, I mean, I don't think any filmmaker should. You shouldn't look to a sequel and be like, okay, I've got to make this one to lead up to this. Like, just make a good movie.
Damn you, Fast and Furious.
Why Fast and Furious?
I'm pretty sure they did that.
I don't think so. Well,
I think they looked ahead.
No, I don't think so because their movies are like ridiculously lightheaded anyway. For the most part, I mean,
fair enough.
They're just dumb fun. So I don't feel like they ever have. I mean, they do say we're gonna make another one, but it's not like I have to make this plot point so that it can go into the next one. You know what I mean?
Oh, okay.
Like when they killed Letty off in the fourth one. Third, not third. Fourth one?
Yes.
I don't think they ever decided, like in the fifth or sixth one, they were going to bring her back. It was just like okay, she's dead. Moving on to the next one.
I mean, her name is mentioned in the fifth.
Right, yeah.
But you don't know anything else after that.
Yeah. And I think that's fine. If you set up a plot point, but you're not sacrificing the movie to make your third one or fourth one or whatever, then it's fine.
Okay.
Like Jurassic World 2.
He's looking at you, by the way. Technically my wall, but he's looking at you.
Yes. So back to Toy Story. I think you're right. I don't think they were looking at a fourth film. I think they were just looking at this.
Because that's what I told you before. Like, I think before we decided to go see Toy Story 4, I was like, I think they should have ended the way they ended in Toy Story 3.
100%.
Because we grew up with the movie. Again, I know we've already brought this point up, but for Andy to get rid of his toys, it's just like something that we did as we were growing up. And then after that, we'd never see them again. And then from there, that should have ended from there. But I mean, it's for them coming up with the fourth movie, fine. I'm curious to see how it's going to turn out.
I agree with you, but I also think it's almost like a cycle right? So Andy gives. Well, we're jumping ahead to the end of the movie.
I mean, is it cycle for viewers?
Kind of. So
Okay.
like it's a cycle of the story. So like, you know, in the first one you have Andy, and then even in the second one, Andy, you know, and he's playing with this kid or these toys, and they have this big adventure. And then the third one, he's grown up.
Yeah.
So then he gives it all to Bonnie.
Yeah.
And this happens the same with Bonnie.
A new generation.
A new generation. You don't have to make movies again, but it's the same thing, right? So you have Bonnie, and she eventually grows up, goes to college, and eventually she'll donate her toys. And, you know, you can just go back, and it's just that cycle
Right.
of just constantly just you get given to a new kid, and they grow up eventually, and then you get given to another new kid, and it's the same thing,
Right.
And that's why I think 3 was the perfect ending to this franchise.
I thought so too. Yeah. Yeah.
Because it was a perfect cycle,
Yeah.
and I don't think they should have moved on.
Right. But I mean, I guess we'll see how the fourth one will turn out.
Yeah.
We'll see. So as they're all holding hands, that was a very sad moment.
Yeah, I really thought they were going to do something.
I thought they were just they were just not really giving up, but I think they were just ready to end it because there was nothing that they could do.
Yeah, they knew that they didn't have another choice.
And then apparently the claw appears,
Which is really funny. To be fair, that was really funny. I still think that maybe one of Lotso's gang should have got caught up with them or something, and that might have been more of a dick move on Lotso and made him just a little bit more villainous. Could you imagine having one of his gang caught trapped in with him, say, I don't know, the octopus or
and pleading for him for Lotso to help him out,
like,
right?
And him saying, okay, it's them, but it's also me. Help me out.
Yeah.
And then he goes, no, I'll save myself, thank you. And then he gets thrown into the fire.
Yeah.
Like. Disney ain't gonna do that though.
No, but that would have been interesting if they did.
Yeah, I mean, it would have been fun, but it doesn't hurt either way.
We also left out, how Lotso basically how they finish him off, and it's just truck pulls up.
Oh no, that's after they get saved from the incinerator.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah, because they pull, the claw comes up and pulls all the toys up, and they get dropped into like the like a pile.
It was just an open area where
yeah.
he just released a claw and the pile was just kind of spread out.
Well, then it pans out or whatever, and it's sunlight, and you see more cranes doing the same thing.
Yeah.
And that's when you see Lotso just drop in the middle of the
Truck pulls up and
Yeah.
picks him up. I used to have one of these things.
puts him in the grill.
Still smells like strawberry. Oh, he didn't say that, but strawberry.
Yeah.
And it puts him in the front.
Yeah.
Hey, buddy, if I were you, I'd keep your mouth shut.
So then they get back on another trash truck to go back to Andy's house, basically.
You have saved our lives. We are eternally grateful. That's what Mr. Potato Head says to them.
Yeah.
Daddy.
Now this is odd to me because they make it back to Andy's house. The toys go into a box, right? They go back into a box.
Yes.
And basically Woody leaves a note for Andy.
Mm-hmm.
Now, do you think Andy knows this is not his mom? Because, I mean, imagine you're a college student, you're 18, 19, whatever. You know your mom's handwriting.
Well, yeah, because now I'm glad you brought that up, because towards the very end where Andy almost gets, or when he's
giving away his...
No. When he goes back to his car and he stands outside his car looking back at the toys, especially Woody,
yeah.
he has this moment where I think he knows.
See, I think he knew before that. Because when he's giving away his toys...
Oh, it was the way that he looked at the paper.
Well, yeah, but when he was giving away his toys, and he's telling Bonnie about all the characters he has, the Rex and the Jesse and the Bullseye,
And who they are.
he looks at Woody, and he pulls back. He's like, "No, I'm not giving you this."
Must mine.
And then he eventually says, he's like, this is
Excuse me.
special. He's special. He's Woody, and then he says something like, I don't remember, but he's like, he's always been there for me, even when you don't think so. He finds a way to be there for me.
Yeah.
I think at that point he's like, okay.
Well, I think because of all the memories you have with your toy, especially with Toy Story, Woody always ends up to be
But
someone
that's
near
what
him.
I'm saying
Yeah.
is Andy might have known at that point, like, because as you're a kid, you don't think about stuff. But maybe at that point, he just like with a note and with him thinking, "How did you get in here? Because you were in my college box,
Yeah.
that I had already packed up and's in the car.
Yeah.
Why are you here?
Yeah, and he asked his mom about it, but I forgot what she said.
Who?
Andy. Andy asked his mom about the toys, and I forgot what she said though.
No, the note said something like, or Andy said, "Do you really think I should donate these?" And
She's like, "Oh, it's whatever you want to do."
yeah,
Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying is Woody was in the bottom of the box. Andy thought he had already packed him up, and at that, like I said, at that point, I think Andy realized, like, okay, yeah, I kind of know, or there have been moments where he shouldn't be here, but he is, or he.
Somehow got
Yeah,
there. Yeah.
yeah. I think at that point he kind of knew,
Yeah.
or I don't know. Maybe you're thinking too heavy into this, but there was. I mean, even I thought that when I was watching that, I was like, okay, so now you're 18, and you're not a kid, so little stuff can't fly by you anymore, or they can, but they don't.
Right.
And so at that point, you're like, yeah, I could see that,
So, what do you listeners think? Do you think Andy might have known that Woody basically comes to life, or what? Let us know, because it's really interesting that he brought that up. But then again, I picked it up as well. Like I said, when he was standing outside his car before he actually left, when he drove off, I thought the same thing too. But yeah, for him to say thanks, guys, it brought a tear to my eye. And that part I remember watching the first time when it was first released in the theaters, and then just watching it just the other day. It brought a tear to my eye because it's kind of like when you have important toys or important things and you end up giving them to someone else, you think of all the memories that you've created with that special thing, and then from there you're like, thanks, like it's nice knowing you, like,
Right,
I'm
yeah.
going to miss you,
Yeah.
and that's how it was for me. I kind of just it put a tear to my eye, and that was it.
Right, yeah. I mean, yeah, it's kind of sad because you see stuff like that and you're like, I mean, there are certain toys that I have that well, my mom has, that I had a My Buddy doll.
My Buddy doll.
And his name was Buddy, and he was one of those dolls. He looked like Chucky, especially the new one. Just not red hair. He was blonde. I mean, he really was. He was like a Chucky doll, but he wasn't scary, obviously.
Right. Yeah. I still have this 18 wheeler made out of metal. Well, the trailer was, but the truck was made out of plastic, and it used to light up the headlights, and it was a Harley Davidson 18 wheeler toy truck. I still have that.
Yeah, yeah. But my Buddy doll, pretty sure my mom still has it anyway. In fact, I'm 100% positive she still has it. Its hair used to like comb down and have like a comb over or whatever. Yeah, I carried it by its hair, so its hair was always like in a spike, a constant spike. Like even when you would wash it, it would just be spiked up because I carried it by its hair. And I can't imagine like if I was 18 and that meant a lot to me because I used to take it to the doctor's office, and I mean that thing went everywhere.
Yeah.
Where I went. And so, like, imagine, like, giving something like that away to another kid. You're like, and not only are you giving it away, you'll never see it again, but that meant so much to me, and that kid could ruin it.
Yeah.
That kid could destroy it. Like, as soon as I walk away, that thing could be gone.
That's funny.
Like, I mean, I feel for Andy. That sucks.
And now that you mentioned Andy, I want to let everybody know that the John Morris, who basically voices the 17-year-old Andy in Toy Story 3, he also voiced Andy in the previous Toy Story movies as well. So props for him for coming back and making the third movie. I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, that is kind of cool. It's consistent.
Yeah.
Consistency.
Well, I mean, might as well because they have all the original cast members for all the original toys. So might as well, you got to try and.
Well,
bring,
except Slinky.
Well,
but-
of course, I know Slinky, yeah. But still, most of them.
Yeah.
Most of them. So, anything else, like for Toy Story 3, what's your rating on that? For me, I'm going to end up giving it, I mean, I like the movie, but I I hate it. No, not really, because it made me sad, made me cry. But no, I think for the movie, I'm gonna give it for me about an 8.5. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna give it an 8.5.
I think this is my least favorite Toy Story movie so far, personally. Not that it's bad, because it's not bad, but I think that just for some reason, the second one's my favorite. It's so good. I can rewatch that one all the time. But maybe it's just nostalgia. Oh my god, I can't talk.
Welcome to my world.
But I don't think it's better than the first one either. Even though the animation is 100% better, I think that the first one has a certain charm that the third one doesn't. Mm-hmm. So if I give the first one like an 8.6 or an 8.5 or something like that, I'd give 3 like an 8.
An 8?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's still not bad, but it's not like... I just don't think it's better than the first or second one.
Yeah.
Personally.
Good. That's not bad. Anything else you want to add to what we got going on? No, I don't think I have anything else. I think we've pretty much covered everything.
This is why I'm worried about the fourth one, because this ended so well.
Yeah.
And like I said, I think this was a perfect ending to a perfect trilogy of films.
Yeah, definitely.
And I mean, most of the time the third one never lives up to expectations, but this one, again, is not better than the first two, but it's fine.
Yeah.
Like it perfectly wraps it up. You never get that. It's on standard with the other two, and you never get that. So I think that they should just quit while they're ahead and just leave it.
Yeah, and for what we have seen in the trailer for Toy Story 4, I wonder if they're gonna, since they're bringing in a new character, main character, I guess is what you want to call it, Forky, I guess that's his name. I think may have mentioned it or something. I wonder if they're gonna make him. If they're going to focus on him mainly, or I wonder what's the plot going to be behind this story now? Because I'm a little worried. And that's why Toy Story 4, like you and I have basically agreed on that Toy Story 3 should be the final movie. But now that they're bringing it back, and you mentioned earlier about maybe because of a cycle, or they're bringing in because of a new generation,
right?
Makes sense. But I wonder where they're going to go with this movie.
Yeah, because I mean, I feel like everyone's character kind of ended in this movie.
I think so too.
Like. And that's another thing about character. I'm going to go off on a tangent real quick. I was a little disappointed with Buzz Lightyear's character in this movie.
I'm going to give you 10 seconds, Booker.
10. Okay, 10 seconds.
I'm sorry, Booker. It was a joke from last night. If you guys watch wrestling, it was Stomping Ground. Did I get it right this time?
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. I called it Smashing Ground. But anyways, go ahead.
Yeah. I think that while Buzz Lightyear is funny in this movie, where he goes into Spanish mode and it's funny, it's also not Buzz Lightyear. Like it's not a continuation of his character. It's almost like they just didn't care about Buzz in this movie, and that's slightly depressing. Because you have in the first one, he thinks he's a space ranger, and he eventually finds out that yes, okay, I'm a toy, and Woody helped me to learn that, and I need to be here for Andy because that's my main mission. And in the second one, he tries to tell Woody, you taught me to be there for Andy. Now you're going to abandon him. And that was good. That was a good progression of his character. And this one, he just turns into Spanish mode and you never hear from him. And it's like, well, I mean, that kind of sucks.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of my big disappointments with this one.
Okay.
I really wanted them to stay. Because I think the charm of the first and second one, honestly, is the relationship between Buzz and Woody.
Mm-hmm.
And this one doesn't have that as much.
Right.
They have it towards the beginning, but not as much for the rest of the movie.
Well, and because in this film, Buzz is with the rest of the group. You know, Andy's done with them. They want to move on to someone else.
But I don't. They just kind of forget about Buzz's character.
Yeah,
and I don't really like that.
Do you think Buzz cares for Andy as much as Woody does?
I would say yes, but I also think that Buzz understands that it's past his time, and because either way, even if he wasn't getting thrown away, he was getting put in the attic.
So he had more of a realistic insight.
He was like, okay, either way, I'm not going to be around Andy anymore.
Yeah, and
it's time. If that's how it's going to be, it's time to leave.
Yeah.
While as Woody was being taken to college, Andy kept him around. I think he's disillusioned by the idea that Andy still needs us, and Buzz is like, no, he needs you That's why he picked you to go to college and us to stay behind.
Yeah.
And so Woody doesn't. I think there's like Woody doesn't like see that their side of it, and that's my opinion. But yeah, Buzz should have been a. I just feel like they forget about his character in this movie.
I kind of wish I kind of paid attention to that more. I think I was just more mesmerized about the whole entire, toys almost dying and giving them away. I think that was more worried about that.
I mean,
so.
that's more of a after I've watched it kind of thing. I kind of go back and I'm like, because after every movie I watch, like especially for this, I'm going to try and be a little.
I'm going to try
critical.
I'm going to try to because the many times that you and I went to the movies and after we walked out, you always asked me, "Oh, what did you think of it?" I was like, "Oh, I liked it." It was like pretty much for every movie, and you're like, no,
except one.
And you were surprised that I had some negative opinions about it.
Yes.
So
I hated it, but
and I think from there on we were like, yeah, I'm going to have some more opinions about some other stuff. So we went from there.
See, like I said, I try to look at it as after I get done watching it, I try to look at it like 'cause it's easy to get caught up in all the spectacle of the film and lose sight of little criticisms. Not that Toy Story 3 is bad. Like it's good, it's funny, but there are little things that I wish they would have done better. And one of those is don't lose Buzz's character.
Yeah,
because or the relationship between Woody and Buzz. I feel like that was a major fault.
Yeah,
in this film compared to the other two.
Sounds good with me. Yeah, that's pretty decent outlook on that.
Yeah.
So we're gonna end it for today, guys. Thank you for joining Film Fam, joining Robert and I, and listening to what we have to say about Toy Story 3. Soon enough, we will go see Toy Story 4, and we will basically make another podcast episode on talking about that movie. So stay tuned for that.
Yes, and we're also looking to do something else after we finish Toy Story 4. So if you have any suggestions, please let us know.
Yes, definitely. Do that. Leave a comment on Twitter or, if you want to tweet at us or you want to say hi on Facebook, you're more than welcome to. We'll be around no matter what. So stay tuned for more episodes, and we appreciate your time. Thank you, guys.